In boxing, there are moments that define a career, and then there are nights that rewrite a legacy entirely. Nights where the questions stop and the answers are delivered with brutal, undeniable force. Tonight was one of those nights. This was the proving ground. For Ryan Garcia, the prodigy with lightning in his hands and a world of expectation on his shoulders, this was everything. He wasn't just fighting Mario Barrios. He was fighting doubt. He was fighting the narrative that his fame outstripped his accomplishments. Barrios, the Aztec warrior, was no stepping stone. A former world champion, tough, durable, and respected, he was the ultimate gatekeeper to the elite. The question wasn't whether Garcia had the speed. We all knew about the speed. The question was whether he had the power, the chin, and the ring IQ to dismantle a proven warrior for 12 rounds. The stakes were clear: validation or exposure. A world title or a return to the drawing board. If you come in calm when the world expects chaos, you're already in control. The bell rings for round 1. The air is thick with anticipation. Garcia, known for his explosive left hook, begins with a patient, almost unnerving calm. He's measuring, processing, downloading data with every feint and every step. Barrios pushes forward, looking to establish his jab and impose his size. But something is different. Garcia isn't just looking for the highlight reel hook. He's setting a trap. Then it happens. A perfectly timed, thunderous overhand right. A punch few saw coming. It sends Barrios down hard in the very first round. The script has been torn up. The famous left hook was the decoy. The right hand was the demolition ball. The arena is stunned. This wasn't just a punch, it was a statement of intent. Barrios rises, hurt but resilient, yet the entire dynamic of the fight has been irrevocably altered. The hunter has become the hunted. From that moment on, Garcia seized absolute control. This was no longer a boxing match, it was a masterclass in controlled aggression. He established what is known as ring generalship, dictating the pace, the position, and the very rhythm of the fight. He cut off the ring with fluid, intelligent footwork, forcing Barrios into corners where he had no escape. The pressure was immense, a constant, suffocating presence. Barrios, to his credit, tried to fire back, but Garcia's defense was just as sharp as his offense. He used head movement and a tight guard, slipping punches and immediately countering with blistering combinations. He was fighting a complete fight, showing a maturity that silenced his critics round by round. The early rounds became a showcase of this newfound dominance. Garcia wasn't just throwing punches, he was conducting an orchestra of violence, and every note was perfectly in tune. He was first, he was last, and he was always one step ahead. The momentum was a tidal wave, and Barrios was struggling to keep his head above water. Let's break down the technical brilliance. If your left hook is famous but your right hand lands the knockout, you're rewriting the script. The overhand right that scored the knockdown wasn't a lucky punch. It was a product of meticulous setup. Garcia had spent the opening minute conditioning Barrios to expect the jab and the hook, creating a false sense of security. His footwork was key. A subtle step to the outside created the perfect angle, taking him off the center line and lining up Barrios' chin. The timing was impeccable, thrown just as Barrios was shifting his own weight. It was a punch born from fight IQ, not just raw power. 2-1. Brawl Shot Group, Group 2-1. Use max available, 2.1.1. Brawl Shot, Media 16. Opponent reacts to a vicious body shot, torso twists and grimaces in pain. The shot is tight and visceral. Beyond that single punch, his entire arsenal was on display. The bodywork was sharp and debilitating. He targeted Barrios' midsection with crisp, digging hooks, sapping his gas tank and lowering his guard. Each body shot was an investment, paying dividends in the later rounds by slowing the bigger man down. This wasn't the one-dimensional fighter some had labeled him. This was a calculated, multifaceted attack. But Mario Barrios is called the Aztec warrior for a reason. He is not a man who quits. Through the middle rounds, he dug deep, showing immense heart and resilience. He began to make adjustments, tightening his guard to protect against the right hand, and attempting to walk Garcia down, using his size and strength to try and bully him on the inside. There were moments where he landed clean, hard shots of his own, reminding everyone in the building of the danger he possessed. He tested Garcia's chin, and Garcia passed the test, absorbing the shots without faltering. Barrios refused to yield, firing back with courage and forcing Garcia to stay focused and disciplined. He was proving that even in a one-sided fight, there are two warriors in the ring. As the fight entered the championship rounds, any hope of a Barrios comeback was systematically extinguished. Garcia, instead of fading, seemed to find another gear. The body shots from the early rounds were now paying off handsomely. Barrios was visibly slowing, his punches losing their snap. Garcia, sensing the end was near, increased the pressure yet again. The right hands, which had been the story of the fight, now landed with punishing regularity. He mixed in sharp uppercuts and continued his assault on the body, leaving Barrios with nowhere to go. It was a relentless, methodical breakdown. The speed was still blistering, the power was still heavy, and the accuracy was chilling. Tonight was one-sided and brutal. By the final bell, there was no question, no debate. It was a shutout performance, a masterclass from start to finish. Then came the formality of the scorecards. The crowd waited, but they already knew the truth. If the judges read scores this wide and the crowd goes silent in awe, you just made history. The ring announcer's voice boomed through the arena. Judge 1 scores it 119-108, Judge 2, 120-107, and Judge 3, 118-109, all for your winner by unanimous decision. And for the first time in his career, a world champion, Ryan Garcia. The journey was complete, the promise was fulfilled. If you leave a world champion, you're not lucky, you're dominant. He claims the prestigious WBC welterweight crown, a symbol of his arrival at the pinnacle of the sport. The emotion is palpable, a mix of relief, vindication, and pure elation. But a true champion is always looking ahead. With the belt around his waist, Garcia wasted no time in setting his sights on his next target. He called out pound-for-pound star Shakur Stevenson, his voice ringing with confidence. "Shakur, let's go. Let's give the fans what they want." The challenge was laid down, loud and clear. This win doesn't just boost his record, it legitimizes his star power. It proves he is more than just a social media sensation. He is a legitimate, top-tier world champion with the skills to back up the hype. The boxing world was talking, and tonight, Ryan Garcia answered every single question with a statement of pure dominance.